Hello and welcome to The Mic Drop, the show where a high school senior shares his thoughts on a myriad of topics. Prepare for snark levels previously thought to be unattainable by humans. I'm your host Mike, and I am not sick of Uptown Funk yet. This week's topic, the upcoming film, Jurassic World. Anyone alive right now should be familiar with the legendary film, Jurassic Park. Ever since its release in 1993, it's been one of those movies where, if you haven't seen it, people will not stop telling you to see it. I am one of those people. Go see it. Then The Lost World came out in 1997, and way too many people were disappointed. Don't look at me like that. Then Jurassic Park 3 came out in 2001, and just the right amount of people were disappointed. And by just the right amount of people, I mean everyone. Now we are once again being punished for our mortal sins because someone had the awful idea to reboot the series that was resting in relative peace. So, for all those on the inevitably doomed hype train, allow me to tell you why you should abandon ship right now before you are left in a bottomless pit of disappointment. Now before I begin, allow me to put out a spoiler alert. I will be referencing leaked plot details and a resulting interview from director Colin Trevorrow. You've been warned. Don't hate me. Hate the money I see. Now let's start the deconstructive criticism by breaking down clips of the official trailers from Universal Studios. Afterwards, we'll look at all the reasons why this movie is more than likely going to be garbage. So,
hold on to your butts.
Now I have no words for this first scene, just...
You're gonna have so much fun. And remember, if something chases you, run.
That's an awful thing to say. You know that exact scenario that you're joking about actually happened, right? Multiple times, in fact. Actually, why are you letting your children go there? Did you not hear about the Isla Nublar incident? Or the San Diego incident? Seriously, why would you send your children there alone? Don't you try and butter me up with that font and gait. It's not the same. You get no brownie points from me. Real quick. Notice how those people have no protection in case that thing gets hungry before a show. No fence, no glass, no net, not even one of those little mini fence things you put up when you don't want your dog to go into the kitchen or something like that. You know what I'm talking about? One of those little... Anyway. I just wanted to point that out real quick.
We have learned more in the past decade from genetics than a century of digging up bones. A whole new frontier has opened up.
Cue poorly justified experiment.
We have our first genetically modified hybrid.
And there it is.
You just went and made a new dinosaur? Probably not a good idea.
Also not a good idea. Casting Chris Pratt as a raptor trainer.
Eyes on me. Good.
Possibly an even worse idea. The concept of a raptor trainer. We'll get to that later.
Almost 40 feet high. Really think she climbed out?
Depends.
On what?
What kind of dinosaur they cooked up in that lab?
Let me guess. Something with the size of a T-Rex and the brains of a velociraptor. Let's be perfectly honest. It doesn't take a Hollywood insider to spoil that.
She's a highly intelligent animal.
Or you could watch the next 30 seconds of the trailer because they basically hand you that information.
Evacuate the island.
You got 20,000 people with nowhere to go.
And who'da thunk it? Everything goes horribly wrong. It's not like this has happened before. Twice. Even if it had, there's no way they'd have any safety precautions for this exact situation. I mean, why would they? Sure, a massive disaster might have taken the lives of dozens of people the first 2 times, but third time's the charm, right? Yeah, I'm still not sold on that whole befriending a raptor concept. Sorry. Don't you try and butter me up with that music and logo. It's not the same. You get no brownie points from me.
We're safe in here, right?
Cue dinosaur. Surprise. Bet you didn't see that coming now, did you? We got you, audience. Didn't we? A little bit of Monica in my life, a little bit of Erica by my side. Now begins my tirade. Let's start with the obvious. The decision to try the whole dinosaur theme park thing again. Someone, despite the first park killing people before it opened, and the second park killing people before it was built, decided to ignore those first 2 incidents and go for it anyway. A third time. What even? Now, I know bringing back the dinosaurs is much more far-fetched, but I'm the only one who decides how far to suspend my disbelief, okay? Next thing, house training velociraptors. Now, director Colin Trevorrow said Chris Pratt's character is doing behavioral research on the raptors. They aren't trained, they can't do tricks, he's just trying to figure out the limits of the relationship between these highly intelligent creatures and human beings. But that's not enough to make me believe that these raptors would let this guy indirectly tell them what to do, much less go on a hunt with them. Now, despite the last 3 movies telling us that velociraptors are highly intelligent hunters, capable of lateral thinking and problem solving, we can now domesticate them the same way we do dolphins. Okay, now dolphins might not be the best example now that I think about it, but you can see what I'm getting at, right? I'm sorry, but at this point, Chris Pratt should be in about 3 different stomachs. Speaking of which, Chris Pratt. Now, they could have gone with anyone, but they decided to go for the guy best known for his parts in Guardians of the Galaxy and Parks and Recreation.
I got it! I got it!
Nice!
Oh, yeah. I also got some dude's briefcase.
I believed in you, buddy. But you should put that back.
Yeah.
How did you get this?
You shattered it. Not only did you hit the
Well,
laser,
that's a
you
wrap.
shattered it.
I'm out!
That guy. Seriously, you can't tell me that they didn't just go with a guy whose name is big right now just to bring in audiences. You might as well have cast Kevin Hart for the job. Actually, now that I think about it, I'd watch that. Yeah, moving on. I have my doubts about this hybrid dinosaur that the park scientists have created. First off, if InGen had gotten the green light from someone, probably the US government, or anyone really, they would have had to promise to not do something incredibly risky just like this. Secondly, how cool could this thing possibly be? If nature managed to create creatures that people millions of years in the future, not just scientists, people in general, thought were amazing, how much better could Hollywood possibly do? Also, the whole reason they went and made this super dinosaur was because the park was seeing a decrease in visitors. Why? In the words of Colin Super Hipster Trevorrow, what if, despite previous disasters, they built a new biological reserve where you could see dinosaurs walking the earth? And what if people were already kind of over it? We imagined a teenager texting his girlfriend with his back to a T-Rex behind protective glass. That is to say, a theme park featuring live dinosaurs is not bringing in enough visitors. Not because it'd be super expensive to go there, not because people heard about the last 2 disasters and thought better of going there, but because it's not cool enough. This isn't Beyblades, these are dinosaurs. I'll believe that whoever took over InGen from Peter Ludlow, John Hammond's nephew and the Lost World's antagonist, would try the whole living dinosaur theme park again. I'll believe that getting all buddy-buddy with a velociraptor is legit. I'll even believe that this movie won't be all that bad. But not appealing enough to the public? I would spend my college fund to visit this theme park. You cannot tell me that jaded teenager #1 over here is not interested in seeing live dinosaurs. This is not a family outing that you're dragged into. You're not going to the National Museum of Pencil Pushing. You're going to Jurassic Park, and you're pumped about that, no matter what age you are, no matter what you're into. You would kill to go to Jurassic Park. Okay, so I just went over the aspects of the story that we can gather from an interview with Trevorrow and the trailers. Now I'm going to go over why this movie is likely going to be like all the other bad reboots and sequels we've seen over the past decade or so. Reason #1, it's a big name attraction. As I've said, there isn't a person alive today who hasn't at least heard of Jurassic Park. Anyone born in the 90s will say that this movie was a part of their childhood. So even someone like me who adores the series and is already dismissing this movie as garbage will go see it just to see it. Plus, instead of casting someone who looks like they'd be okay with training a velociraptor, they went with the guy who's had Tumblr swooning for months, dare I say years now. Not only that, but I'd bet my collection of My Little Pony memorabilia that they'll try to sneak in some subtle Easter eggs from the first few movies for viewers to find. And by subtle Easter egg, I mean someone's probably gonna say clever girl at some point. Reason number 2, kids. Anyone who has a kid, has interacted with a kid, or has been a kid can attest to the fact that kids are extremely easy to entertain. Kids don't care about an interesting plot or subtle nuances. If it's big, loud, colorful, or an animal, it's likely to keep kids entertained for at least half an hour. Like SpongeBob, or Adventure Time, or John Cena. We'll talk about him later. Dinosaurs fit into 3 of those categories, so there's a huge profit right there. Also, there are already Lego Jurassic World products lined up. Even if I'm reading into everything else, you can't argue with that. Reason number 3, limited plot potential. With what we know so far, one has to ask, how is this movie's plot so much different from the plots of the last 3 movies? I've been struggling to figure that out myself. Aside from the semi-friendly raptors and the hybrid dino, there doesn't seem to be too much originality going on with the plot. It has the dinosaurs getting loose, which we've seen, an antagonistic dinosaur, which we've seen, a bunch of guys with ineffectual guns, which we've seen, a pair of siblings stranded during the disaster, which we've seen. You can see where I'm going with this, right? Unless someone has had a stroke of genius, this looks like a jumble of recycled plot points. I have voices in my head, they counsel me, they understand, they talk to me. Jurassic World comes out June 12th in the US, and though I want more than anything else in the world for this movie to pull a Godzilla 2014 and be fantastic, I'm not holding my breath. All signs point to a bad Hollywood milking movie, so I'll wait for the next hype train at Fanboy Station. Thus ends the first installment of the Mic Drop. Hopefully everyone has had at least a chuckle at my antics, and with any luck, I'll be back again. Sometime. Hopefully next week. So until we meet again, don't forget to say the magic word.
Please!